Hello, John Adams scholars. Today I'm going to help participate in your Spirit Week by showing you cool things that I find on my walk. I live in Sacramento, and today we've decided to take a nice social distance walk in Sacramento's Old City Cemetery. This is one of Sacramento's most historic areas. It's the oldest cemetery here and one of the oldest cemeteries in the state of California. We have a lot of famous people buried here, including Crocker from the Crocker Art Museum, and our good old man and one of the founders of Sacramento City, John A. Sutter, who built Sutter's Fort and who started an amazing trade route from California to the East Coast. So you know that John Sutter is very famous and he's buried here. We also have a time capsule buried in Old City Cemetery, as well as the people who died in the cholera pandemic that happened here in the very early mid-1800s. And here are some of the names of the doctors who had passed in that 1850 cholera epidemic. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take you around. We're going to show you some of the coolest sights to see in Old City Cemetery, including some Civil War veteran graves, the Pioneer Cemetery, and the Memorial Cemetery for the Sacramento firefighters. And I'll try to tell you a little bit about why each of these people buried in this city cemetery have contributed to Sacramento being the great place it is now. So now we are in the part of the cemetery where the pioneers are buried. So these are the first people to come to California and settle California. Some of them came from as far as New York, but most of them are from the Midwest. They are now buried here, which you can see they've got very distinct gravestones to mark them as some of California's very first residents. So I'm sure you guys remember, but some of these pioneers were pushed out here by the promise of Californian gold. In 1849, they found gold in the Coloma River, up in Coloma by the American River. And that rumor of that gold got all the way to the East Coast. Some people pushed this way for a better life and to fulfill their manifest destiny. James K. Polk at the time insisted that people go westward and try to expand the U.S. territory to try to give democracy and freedom out to the native people. So we all know there was some conflict as well as some amazing things, but whatever drove these people, they wound up here, and a lot of them had great lives. You can see this person here, Benjamin Woodworth, had lived to be 62 years old in 1869. So some of these pioneers were able to create very good lives for themselves and to found California for the rest of us. So amongst our famous dead here are, of course, veterans, which, you know, John Adams is big on honoring veterans, and so we have veterans of a lot of different wars here, starting with the United States Civil War. You can tell that these gravestones belong to Civil War soldiers, this is Hamish, due to the symbol on them. This badge symbol indicates that they were Civil War soldiers. If you look out at the field behind us, you can see that this entire section is dedicated to veterans. The graves that are put down into the ground are either World War I, II, or Vietnam. So we have an entire field here of Sacramento's famous and brave soldiers. They're not all dead in war. Some of them came home to live full and happy lives and wound up getting buried here as a thank you and an honor to the service and what they've given to our country. Sticking with the veterans theme, you're now in the plot for the Spanish-American War veterans. The Spanish-American War happened in 1898, so Teddy Roosevelt was the president at the time. We got involved in the Cuban War for independence, and we wound up with all of Spain's Pacific possessions, and that is why when you get into World War II, you will see that the Philippines are on the side of the Americas, all thanks to these men and their fighting in the Spanish-American War. And here we see the cemetery for some of the city of Sacramento's earliest firefighters. Back in the times when Sacramento was still a fresh, young city, back in the 1800s, the gold rush days, it was very difficult to get the water in that you needed to combat the fires. It was very difficult to get the firefighters together. It was very difficult to stop one building from burning since they were all connected. And so these men worked extra hard battling those California wildfires that we're so used to. They were able to use huge tanks of water and things like that. Some of them have even gone up to Placerville to help fight that big fire when that was going on. So here is where we keep our city's honored and oldest firefighters, and they are remembered with this huge bell. They have their very own special part of the cemetery. So that concludes our Spirit Week walk around Old City Cemetery, playing I Spy fun historical graves of people who were important to the development of Sacramento City, which is now California's state capital and very close to your home. If you ever are able to come down here, you definitely should. It's worth a day's walk. It's very quiet. And if you are not into the history or cemeteries give you the heebie-jeebies, there's also one of the world's most amazing and rare botanical gardens here, including some species of roses that have since gone extinct. So it's definitely worth your time to come check this out when the quarantine is lifted, or if not, it's the perfect place to social distance. So I miss you guys a ton. Obviously, I miss teaching you and I miss our classroom. Hopefully you're holding out at home and just hanging in there and enjoying time with your family and your siblings. Remember, you can always keep in touch. You can send me a video of fun things. I'll be watching all your Spirit Week videos that you send in, and hopefully you enjoyed this. So, I'll see you soon. Bye.